The PSP report is at a completely different level. Oh, you're here early. Hi, I'm absolutely glad. Welcome to the PSP Success series. I'm Rosie, and here is where you'll begin to understand your next steps. Yeah, and you better pay attention because this video contains the key. Well, something like that. Are you ready to get it? Let's begin. Oh, but before, don't forget this is a 10 video series we strongly recommend you to watch, especially if you're about to begin your PSP journey or have any question in the process. Don't forget to like this video for it to be saved in your liked videos and also to subscribe to this channel if you haven't done it yet. Special thanks to USAC for the space. Have in mind this series is being developed parallel to COVID-19 situation. So if all activities are being held in the campus again, there might be some variations. That being said, here is the key during your PSP. Find in the description 6 documents with the outlines to work over them. As I was telling, your PSP report is at a completely different level. Of course, it won't be as any other report you might have developed during your career, but it could be really similar to the seminar report you created during your 10th cycle. What is important to remember, however, is that there will be an authorized format for each career, with a few variations each, and yours isn't the exception. Starting by the fact that everything needs to be written in English. Licenciatura en Lingüística del Idioma Inglés has an authorized format by the Board of Directors that includes 5 chapters: Diagnosis, Theoretical Framework, Project Profile, Project Execution and Implementation, and Project Evaluation, all of them preceded by a plan and followed by an evaluation. Your report must begin with a front page, include an index, an authorship page, a list of graphs and/or tables, acknowledgements, and an abstract, this in English and Spanish, and an introduction. All these pages, beginning by the index until the abstract, must be lowercase Roman numbers, and at the end of the report, conclusions. These respond to each of the objectives you determine in the project profile. If you have 8 objectives, you should have 8 conclusions. Recommendations, connected also to the conclusions, the number of recommendations must be the same. Bibliography based on the 7th edition from APA, find guidelines about it in video number 5. And the references belong to chapters 1 and 2 mostly. Appendixes, including all the plans and the diagnostic instruments, the results you obtain in their analysis, and annexes, including all the documents not created by you that you consider important for the report's reliability, like letters and images. The PSP report must be letter size, include a Cintillo Pantone 3385C. A Cintillo is a color stripe all PSP reports must include, and they represent their department. This is the one for Sección de Idiomas. All margins must be 2.5 centimeters, spacing 1.5, font must be Arial 12 points, all pages must be numbered, and when delivered printed, 1 copy must be given to each reviser in case you have more than one, and the report must be bind. Additionally, the Word document must be included in a CD. All these specifications refer to the format authorized on May 28, 2019, the latest one. Your professional supervised practice is translated in the following steps: attending the propedeutic session, being accepted at an institution to complete the PSP process, completing the diagnosis at the institution or community, an institution and contextual diagnosis, listing the lacks and weaknesses determined by the diagnosis, transforming the lacks to problems and selecting a problem, proposing a solution based on the selected problem, developing a theoretical framework based on the selected problem and solution, developing an action plan or profile, executing and implementing the action, systematizing the experiences and lessons learned, evaluating the whole process, and presenting a final report. So yes, you'll do all that, but don't worry, we'll go over each and every one of those steps in the following video. Right now, first things first. As I mentioned, all chapters are preceded by a plan. So let's get you all set to create your plans. Remember the process. You complete the plan, including the evaluation. Check more specifications about this in video number 8. You present it to your advisor, and once authorized, you complete your chapter. Once the chapter is approved by your advisor, you evaluate it and you move on to the next plan. Then repeat the process. Except with Chapter 3, where you'll have to develop your project, and Chapter 4, where you have to conduct the implementation and also develop your project's continuity. For you to feel less stressed about the plans, they all respect the same format, varying only in their approach for obvious reasons. So they aren't really difficult. All begin with the identification of the beneficiary institution and its location, the plan's objectives. This part is important as the objectives you're designing are not for the chapter but for the plan. Each chapter will have additional objectives. The general and specifics you design here respond to the needs of each plan. What you're planning to do for the diagnosis, what you're planning to do in order to develop the theoretical framework, what you need to do for the profile, what you want to achieve for the implementation, and later for the evaluation. They continue with the justification, the reasons for the creation of a plan for conducting a diagnosis, then the reasons for the creation of a plan for developing a theoretical framework, the reasons for the creation of a plan for profile, implementation, and evaluation. Resources go next. All people, human resources, things, material resources, and money, financial resources, involved in the plan for each of the chapters. After that, techniques are listed. Those that are foreseen as necessary for the completion of the chapter, again, different based on the chapter's approach. Timetable, including all activities that will be conducted for the completion of the plan in the chapter, is presented always in a Gantt chart, which has different templates. You can include the activities in the first column, you specify dates in the next columns, mostly presented in weeks, and then use a color code based on who's responsible for the completion of these activities. That's one style. If you're curious on what would be the most suitable for you, visit this website, www.gantt.com. Right after the timetable, the evaluation needs to be stated. The instrument is free based on what you agree with your advisor. Check video 8 for more ideas about this. Finally, the continuity plan. Have in mind this will determine the sustainability of your project, so it must be really well thought. Along with the general information from the project, its name, institution's name, and location, consider the project's contribution. Mention what the project represents for the community, its implementation process, mention how will the process begin being used, the methodology, techniques, activities, results, innovation, success, and lessons learned. All these from the implementation. The continuity's justification, objectives, general and specific, its goals, suggested activities for continuity, timetable, remember about Gantt, resources, human, material, and institutional, techniques, budget, evaluation, long-term indicators of the project success, and observations. All possible recommendations you'd like to leave the authorities with. Make sure to include a letter signed by the person or people taking responsibility for your project's execution, so this part is complete. You'll think about this once your project has been authorized, so don't panic. You'll have plenty of time to think about it. And that's it. You know the generalities. It's just a matter of getting started. The next 5 videos explain each of the 5 chapters. So get ready and begin building up your PSP success. This was Rosie. See you in our next video.